The Bellman Espresso Maker, now with its brand new Brew Head attachment, takes everything you thought you knew about stovetop coffee and flips it on its head. Full control over grind and flow. We're talking real espresso style shots, the ability to make back-to-back coffees, and even powerful steam from milk. All from a 304 grade stainless steel travel ready brewer that fits into your bag. And if you want to stay ahead of releases just like this, join our Brew Club loyalty program. It's free to sign up and you'll earn points every time you shop and unlock exclusive deals and discounts, plus first access to gear like this. Link in the description down below. All right, I'm really excited to share with you now the Bellman Espresso Brew Head attachment, so let's get into it. For many years now, the Bellman Espresso Maker and Steamer has been that go-to for campers, travelers, or anyone wanting a stovetop brewer that could also steam milk. It's cleverly built, durable, it's versatile, but let's be honest, it brews something closer to a strong moka pot coffee rather than a true espresso. That was its trade-off. Now, with the release of the new Brew Head attachment, the Bellman crosses a line it never could before. This isn't just a small accessory, it's a full lid upgrade that turns the Bellman from a pretty good strong coffee and steam into a genuine low pressure espresso maker. And I can control, repeat, and refine the coffee that I make. Now, if you already own a Bellman, this is the upgrade you've been waiting for. If you're new to the Bellman entirely, then it is the bundle with the Brew Head that basically is a travel-friendly espresso station for all your adventures. Here's how it changes. The original Bellman brews through a single 50-gram filter basket inside the brewing unit, with a tap at the end controlling the flow out. Whereas the new Brew Head moves the filter basket to the outside, swaps it for a deeper 52mm 20-gram portafilter-style basket, and repositions the tap above so it's pre-coffee rather than post-coffee. And it also comes with a tamp and scoop tool, as well as a silicone wrap around the brew basket. Why does all this matter? Because you, not the Bellman, control when the water comes in contact with the coffee. You control then the grind, and then you can pull one shot, unscrew the Brew Head off, reload, and go again without dumping that whole unit of water. It's basically giving you the workflow of a small espresso machine with the portability of a stovetop. So for anyone who's used the Bellman unit before, this sensory shift is dramatic. It's like going from making do to making barista ideal coffee without losing that rugged portability. And because the Bellman body still holds plenty of water, you can do multiple back-to-back brews of coffee and steam milk without waiting for a full reset. This was always the Bellman's superpower, but it's now finally paired with real espresso-like coffee instead of moka pot brews. Now, before we dive into making coffee, let's take a quick look over the specs of the Bellman itself. It's still made from 304 grade stainless steel, making it compatible with gas, electric, ceramic, and even induction cooktops. This hasn't changed. And it's good news because the thing is practically indestructible and it works on every cooktop. It comes with a pressure gauge, a pressure release valve built into the back of the handle, a 2-hole steam wand with independent steam tap, as well as the Brew Head unit itself. And here's how to get the most out of this brewer. First, begin by filling that boiler up. I use the internal gauge markings, 3, 6, or the 9 mark. For a single double style shot, just fill under the 3 mark. For any more coffee than that, I would just suggest filling to the 6 or 9. Now, it will still take the usual amount of time to bring this water up to a temperature. So here's where using water already heated can speed things up. You still need to place the original filter basket into the Bellman as well, as this houses the spout in which water makes its way up into the Brew Head. Then we're going to remove the filter basket from the bottom, but place the Brew Head on and attach it so it is in line with the handle, making sure that both the steam and the brew tap are both closed. Now we're going to place it on the stove and get it warming up. And one of the more exciting additions to the workflow of the Bellman with this new brew head is you can have the Bellman warming up on the stove whilst you prepare your coffee. Now, I'm going to be grinding my coffee using the EasyPresso X Ultra, which I find is a fantastic grinder for portability, and I'm going to be grinding an espresso fine grind. And the new brew head attachment really does respond well to finer grinds and a proper tamp. Here I'm grinding out 20 grams of ground coffee. And once I've finished grinding, I'm going to place this, put that away. I'm going to place this into the deep basket. This works quite well to transfer it, nice and clean. Couple of taps to settle the grinds. Now, even after a few taps like that, the grounds have settled in the basket, and I reckon you could go 2 to 3 grams up, or even below that to say 16 to 17 grams easily in this basket. So it's quite versatile how much coffee you use. And I've got to say, even though it's a plastic tamp, this tool that Bellman includes in the box fits perfectly inside this filter basket. Next, I'm going to screw on the filter basket to the brew head, and I've made sure that the new tap is facing away from the handle, and that makes it easier to control during brewing. Make sure I turn this on nice and tight. And next, I had the Bellman set on a medium heat source, and I'm going to be watching the pressure gauge and aiming for between 2 and 3 bars of pressure before opening up the tap. And a steady controlled rise is ideal, and I manage the heat source to ensure that I avoid going over pressure too quickly. When you are ready to brew, place your cup under the new brew head, open up the tap gently, and we're going to wait until water makes its way through the coffee, and you'll start to see the bottom of the basket slowly fill. And then it'll begin dripping rich, syrupy espresso. And I'll continue this until I have my desired amount from the 20 grams of ground coffee that I started with. So here I'm aiming for a ratio of around a 1 to 2. So closing off that brew head valve once I have my desired amount. Now, a good reason why I wouldn't brew the full amount of water out through a single basket of coffee is there is a more likelihood that I'll get burnt and bitter flavors. And really, out of 20 grams of coffee in this basket, the most brew I would want to achieve is around 60 to 80 grams, absolutely maximum. Otherwise, you really will enter that territory of over-extracted coffee. I would say the ideal amount being around 40 to 50 grams. But turn the tap off, it stops brewing, and the Bellman still carries its signature steam wand. This is that 2-hole steam tip here. I've got my milk ready, so I'm just going to blast my steam tip. This is fantastic for creating any cafe-style drinks you want. Now, I purge the wand first to clear out any wet steam. Then, with a pitcher of milk ready, hold the jug at a slight angle backwards whilst getting the tap to point down to the back corner of the jug. With the steam tip just inside the milk, turn the steam tap open gradually and then quicker until the milk begins to spin. And the perfect temperature for milk is around 60 degrees Celsius. Once you reach that temperature, I'm going to turn the steam tap off. I'm also going to turn the power off so I don't start creating any more pressure in the steam in the Bellman. I'm going to wipe my steam wand and also purge immediately to get any of that milk stuck in the steam wand. And here we go, ready to pour some latte art. Now with the one coffee made here, beautifully textured, I can keep the Bellman unit steady at above 1.5 bars of pressure, And I could be steaming milk back to back as good as any other cafe, shot after shot. And once my shot is done and the milk is steamed and poured, I can brew another shot. So we'll do that now. First, I want to make sure that this brew tap is definitely turned all the way off. Then I'm going to twist and turn this brew head off. Holding the handle at the back and the silicone wrap around the brew head itself. It's not too hard to do, it's just a little hot. There we go. We're going to knock this filter basket out. Might need a cloth for this. It's not too hot. Comes out nice and cleanly, actually. Give the filter basket a nice wipe down. I've got another pre-ground dose here ready to go. Give it another tamp. We're still at 1.5 bars of pressure. Attaching it back onto the brew head. It was at 1.5 bars, so I'm just going to bring it slightly up again to 2 bars to brew my next shot. Getting my cup ready, getting my milk ready. All right, we're at 2 bars. Brew my shot again, so I'm going to open that tap up. And if you find the flow of the espresso out is quite fast, you can either close the tap off a little bit, but it might also be an indicator that you'll want to fine your grind up for next time. And I tell you what, I could probably even steam my milk right now. Yep. That's awesome. I've never tried this before. So right now I'm brewing, which I'm about to stop, and I'm steaming at the same time. So you can have your milk done and ready before the shot's even finished. That's fantastic. I love that. I really do. All right, we're going to stop this. Stop that. We're going to turn that off. Probably we'll just throw this under here to stop those drips. There we go. And my second coffee on the Bellman. Beautiful. Look at that. And I've got to be honest, this here really is a game changer for the Bellman, for true espresso style brewing without waiting for the whole unit to cool down. For those of you who have used the Bellman, I will mention the things that I've discovered are that there's no sucking back of coffee into the water reservoir, so you're not going to have any coffee flavored steam coming out. And there's also no steam ever coming out of the brew head whilst you're brewing. Now, here are my big tips for brewing. As mentioned, using hot water in the Bellman to start with will get you brewing quicker, yet you'll also have the ability to slowly let the pressure build whilst you get your coffee ready in the filter basket. So it's become this practical, easy workflow now for great coffee back to back. It's also nice to know that the Bellman has an inbuilt overpressure valve that will release from the back of the handle if pressure goes too high. Yet I would always recommend to stay near the Bellman when it's on the stove to ensure that it doesn't go over pressure. And you can simply turn off your heat source, open up the steam wand, and remove the Bellman from the stove too to quickly depressurize the unit. Now, when it comes to removing the brew basket to brew another coffee, or just handling the Bellman in general, once it's been up to pressure, it does become quite hot, so be wary around it. And I would recommend using perhaps an additional cloth or letting the Bellman cool down if you want to handle it further. To clean the Bellman, I simply open up the steam tap to remove all the pressure. Then once it's cooled down, I open up the top of the unit to remove all the water and give the brew basket a good clean out and dry of all parts, and then place it back together for next time. So who is this for? If you've already owned a Bellman espresso maker and steamer, this brew head attachment is a no-brainer. It is the single biggest upgrade that this system has ever had. And if you've never owned one, but you're curious about a travel-friendly espresso plus steaming setup, go straight for this bundle. It's effectively a portable espresso bar with no electricity needed beyond a heat source. Are there quirks? Sure. It is still a stovetop device, so you'll be managing heat and pressure manually. So it's not a 9-bar espresso pump machine, but compared to the old Bellman experience, everything about the workflow and the cup quality is instantly better. The shots are richer, the control is deeper, and the milk steaming is just as powerful. The Bellman has always been about the freedom to brew anywhere and share coffee anywhere. With this new brew head attachment, it finally earns the espresso maker part of its name. And if you've ever been waiting for a portable brewer that actually gives you barista-style espresso shots plus steam, the Bellman Espresso Maker in this bundle is where it's at. So thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you have any further questions on this product, throw them in the comment section down below and I'll get straight back to you. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.